What up, YouTube? It's Kurt here. Today we're going to talk about why Ash Blossom is such a freaking good card. All right, and this comes as common sense to a lot of seasoned Yu-Gi-Oh players, but there are several reasons why this hand trap is probably the most prominent hand trap in the metagame right now, and it has been for quite some time. And it does come with its advantages over things like Effect Veiler, comes with its advantages over Joel and Lockbird. And I'll talk about all those reasons. A lot of people tend to play a combination of all those hand traps, but we'll talk about why Ash. Although some people say it's not as good, I think, as it actually is, and we're going to get into that discussion. Some people see. We're going to make this first point. First point, at the minimum, it can be a 1-for-1. So let's say here we get into, we'll get into the basic Upstart Goblin. Say your opponent plays Upstart Goblin, and you decide to Ash Blossom the Upstart Goblin, and it's their first turn. All right, so the reason why, generally speaking, that's understood to not be a tremendous play. But at the same time, say you actually do go through with it. Even if it's a bad play, it's still something that provides you with a little bit of card advantage, and here's why. If you the first play is Upstart Goblin, you Ash Blossom the Upstart Goblin, all of a sudden your opponent's opening hand is 4 cards, and your opening hand will be 5 cards. And proportionally speaking, proportions matter. It's a lot harder to play with 4 cards than it is with 5. And the difference between 5 and 6 is a lot smaller, if that makes sense. So if your opponent's playing with 4 and you're playing with 5, as opposed to your opponent playing with 5 and you playing with 6, well, you're going to have a little bit of a statistical advantage when playing that. And I think if you play around long enough in the meta, you'll understand that that is in fact the case. All right, so other than being just a 1-for-1, and that's actually a great thing in this meta, we'll get to the second point. The second point is that Ash Blossom has so much utility. Basically, if anything happens from the deck, a summon from the deck, card from deck to hand, deck to graveyard, you can activate this. And so many decks are highly reliant upon this that you can very easily mess up an opponent's play. So let's take it, for example. We will say we'll go through all the meta right now. Right now, meta is Thunder Dragons. Right now, meta is Sky Strikers. Right now, meta is Salamangreats. So Sky Strikers, a lot of times someone will play Engage, and Engage will be a free +1. So if you Ash Blossom the Engage, either even before that effect applies, you can easily make it so that it's a -1 for your opponent, and that's really, really, really awesome if you blossom a Sky Striker at the right time. And also if you play it on their opening hand, well, often they'll Sky Striker to like Ray, and they won't have Ray, and they can't even play their combos. We'll go Thunder Dragons. Thunder Dragons, a lot of times there'll be a search with Thunder Dragons, search for a monster. And it's not probably as potent against Thunder Dragons, but if you Ash Thunder Dragon effect, sometimes that can make their hand a little bit bricky, and Thunder Dragons are known to be a little more prone to brick from my understanding. So if you Ash Blossom one of the Thunder Dragon effects, it's still pretty good. But then we'll go to Salamangreat. Salamangreat, it's a little resistant to Ash, but still, if they summon Lady Debug, a lot of times they're going for their Gazelle. And if they aren't able to get their Gazelle on their first turn, a lot of times that in itself can be really, really bricky for them. And that's why Ash Blossom is really, really efficient, even if the meta is a little resistant. But a lot of times now you're seeing, Pot, and this is going into the third point. This is a new card. All right, so Pot of Indulgence is a free +1 unless you can do something about it. And also, still Pot of Desires is a very, very popular card. If you Ash Blossom both of those cards, it is insanely good. All right, not only your opponent cannot draw for the rest of the term after they activate this, and from my understanding, they tend to at least build their deck around that effect. And if you Ash Blossom it anyway, well, then they're just kind of fucked. I mean, they can still add a lot of cards from there, but a lot of times you'll see this on the opening hand, and they just, if you activate your Ash, then they're down to 4 cards. And most decks that play these, that just fucks up their entire strategy. So say you're playing Guru Control. If you Ash Blossom the Guru Control, well, Guru Control is a little more prone to bricking, and that's why it's excellent. Yeah, so you get a free sneak peek of my deck, but all these reasons combined are why Ash is just a lot more efficient of a hand trap. So that's the main point of the video. If you want to stop watching now, that's the main point. But we'll go into comparison to other hand traps. So I think the second best hand trap right now is Droll and Lockbird. And well, the reason why Lockbird isn't as good as Ash, in my opinion, is because Droll at least allows the addition of a card. And if you have a card that allows the addition, sometimes it's better for that addition to not even take place in the first place. A lot of decks can just play around Droll on Lockbird, and you can't really main Droll that much. Now, in the Thunder format, Droll and Lockbird, there are a couple decks to where it just completely obliterates, like Danger Thunder Dragons. It completely obliterates any deck relying on summon, draw, summon, draw, summon, draw. And that's why Droll is really, really effective. But Ash generally has more utility to the wider metagame. Alright, so that's all I have to say about that, guys. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you like it, subscribe, and all that stuff. So, peace.